So I love YouTube comments. And for years, I've been doing YouTube questions and answers and not getting any comments, a few questions here and there. This month, I've done a few of the Am I the Jerk questions on YouTube, and y'all are talking back. So I'm just going to go with it for a little while so we can get the conversation going. With that said, let's get to it. Am I the jerk for telling my sister in law that she's not the real mom of our nephews and niece and should respect that our siblings would not want them homeschooled? I lost my brother and sister in law about a year ago now. My sister in law's sister was their godmother, so she has full legal custody of our three nephews and niece. The oldest is 4. My brother and sister in law were against homeschooling in any form. I'm fairly certain they were actually part of a group advocating for it to be made illegal. Apparently, however, sister in law's sister, I'll call her Cora, is completely the opposite. She has always planned to homeschool her children, and that won't change now, especially given how bad the schools are. Cora has a degree in classical studies and history. She's working on getting a teaching license now. She should have it by the end of June, she says, which means she'll have it in time for the oldest to start kindergarten. She also says that it makes what she's doing more like private tutoring, but my brother and sister in law were against it, were against that as firmly as they were against traditional homeschooling. Side note, yes, Cora works. She does something from home. I'm not really sure of the details. I tried to talk to Cora to explain that when she has kids, she can raise them how she wishes. She shot back that they are her children now, and she has to do what she feels is best. And a school with asbestos in the ceiling is a non option if there ever was one. We argued more. I got a call from my mom this morning telling me to make other arrangements for Thanksgiving. Wow. Apparently, Cora had called to apologize that she and the kids wouldn't be coming this year as planned because she wanted to let things cool off between us. Mom refused to miss seeing her grandbabies on Thanksgiving, so since I made this mess, I'm the one who gets left out. The thing is, I don't know if I'm being a jerk, and everyone I know is too close to be objective, so what do you think? Before I read how people commented, I'm going to give you the law. The law is that the legal guardian of the children gets to decide how those children are educated, and no one else really has a say in it at all. Therefore, if Cora inherited the children and is now the legal guardian, nothing anyone else says should matter. Is it a little disrespectful for Cora to go against the deceased parents' wishes? Yes, but as Cora said, they're my children now. So let's get some other opinions. Seriously, even if they call her aunt, she'll still be their parent figure for the rest of their lives. They're her kids now. And they're young. The oldest is 4. She's going to be the only parental figure most of them remember, which is really sad, but this is such a sad situation. Honestly, I'm very suspicious of homeschooling in a lot of cases, but if I was going to be comfortable with someone teaching my kids who isn't a school teacher, it'd be someone who has a teaching certificate, especially in an area where the schools are bad and have asbestos now. Homeschool parents don't need a teaching certificate. The law in most states is a GED or high school diploma. So Cora is qualified to homeschool whether Anybody likes it or not. Someone says you're the jerk. The oldest was 3 when they lost their parents. She is their mother. Talking to her about honoring what your brother believed in is very different from what you said. Your mother was right to allow sister-in-law to sort issues out with you outside of Thanksgiving. You owe her an apology. Most of all, I'm sorry for your loss. Navigating how you recover and rebuild as a family is never smooth. Plus, due to having to take on 4 young children, she may not have the time to have her own children. That's a sacrifice she made. It's unreasonable to say when you have your own kids, since she's likely sacrificing her chance to do that. And the way she worded it makes it seem like sister-in-law is single, which doubles down on the fact that she won't be having biological kids. They're her kids. The losses, they're her kids. Everyone agrees. Someone says that may be why she wants to homeschool. If she homeschools for a few years, say till 2nd or 3rd grade, she can create more of a bond that she doesn't have since she got the kids recently, even if it means less time for her during the day, including to find a romantic relationship. The most important thing about homeschooling is building the parental child bond. So someone made an amazing point. Typically, and I don't support homeschooling for a year or 2 and then putting kids back in school. You have to be consistent and do one or the other. Good times to put kids back in school are like 4th, 5th grade before middle school, or 7th and 8th grade right before high school. Once they hit high school, you need to have made a decision and stick to it. So if she decides to homeschool for elementary, for no other reason but the bond, and she's diligent about what she does, I don't have a problem in it. I don't have a problem with it. But I'm a homeschool advocate. I've homeschooled. Someone says she does have custody of kids she never raised and has 0 experience. Now she wants to homeschool them and risk their future. THERE, their future, against their deceased parents' wishes. We homeschool our 3 kids due to military life and have been in states like South Carolina. We meet so many people who homeschool because it's hip and end up setting up their THERE kids for failure. The other aunt uncle has every right to raise concerns. They could OF just done it more tactfully. Yeah, I'm that person. I'm that person who discounts everything a person says when their grammar is this bad. Okay, moving on. She has been the guardian of the oldest for a quarter of her life, the others even longer. At this point, it's not just custody. She is their parent, and they are her kids. Someone says, yeah, when we chose legal guardians, my kids will have, if we both die, we thought about it very seriously. Ultimately, no one will raise them like we would. The most important factor weren't shared values, but how much they would know and love the person we chose. If she thinks of them as her children already, then they chose the right person, homeschooling or not. So, ooh, y'all, these people are off the chain. You're the jerk. Your sister-in-law got saddled with 4 kids unexpectedly, and she's trying to do what she feels is best. It's a jerk move to try and undermine her parenting by saying they aren't hers. They are. She's right to say that and treat them like they are her own. Also, homeschooling isn't going to hurt them. It sounds like she's more qualified than most homeschool teachers that I know of. Nice dig. And someone chimes in, this I realize I am biased because I was homeschooled, but people consistently remark on how I don't read as a normal homeschooler when they find out. There's a world's difference between the religious or New Age wingnuts who insist their delicate children need to be protected by the world and the actually larger than most people realize section of people who, like my mom, are highly educated with a bone to pick with how messed up our current school systems in the US are, and who have the resources to make sure we got a good education and could be signed up for extracurricular activities to keep us social and engaged in society. I get that everyone is in pain and OP wants to honor her sibling's memory, but so is the sister in law's sister. She just is more concerned about the living kids and what's best for them through her own filters than the dead's ideals. Last one. Let's do one more. Not only that, the parents, even though they fought against homeschooling, they valued Cora's principles. Yeah? It's like raising the kids vegan, but then choosing a cattle farmer as a guardian. Obviously, the work ethic and personal values matter more than the actual topic. Homeschooling these days is all about co ops and professional educators. I can see every reason why it would be good to surround 4 traumatized children in a world where you could basically ensure that the world moved at a pace they needed for a while. I run such a program. So, yeah, there's an intersection between traditional school and homeschooling, and it's co op group programs where I wouldn't say it moves at a slower pace, but it's smaller classes and they can cater more to the students' needs. Need to go to a therapist twice a week? Done. Need to go for a run and blow off steam? Done. Need to cry because a math problem triggered you? Go ahead. I can see this especially beneficial for middle and high school aged kids. The fact is that, especially in America, we deal with grief horribly. But the oldest is only 4, not even school age. I mean, what the heck, OP? The parents didn't actually have time to make education decisions for them, regardless of what they were advocating for. I've seen so many people who were anti whatever school, public, private, homeschool charter, who totally changed their minds based on what their kids needed. My own friend was very much, my kid will be in a private school if it means we're homeless. Very anti homeschool and anti public school, but her kid has learning disabilities. So her kid was homeschooled for a year and then wound up in public schools. You really don't know how to best educate a kid until you have that kid, until you live in your family. So, to sum things up, a sibling died, and the sister in law's sister has the children and has decided to homeschool, even though the OP is telling us that the parents wouldn't have wanted homeschooling. In fact, they were so dead set against it that they were advocating against homeschooling. That's a lot of work for someone who's okay. I'm struggling with that because I don't know. What does even advocating against homeschooling look like? I mean, some people just complain about it, and some people contact the legislature. And it might be based on, abuse situations in the news and things like that. But at the end of the day, the law says those are her kids. And in the United States, you can teach your kids any way you please. Okay, till next time.